My child's wedding revealed secrets that changed everything. Stop the music. Those initials aren't my daughter's name. I didn't shout it. I said it into the mic the DJ handed me for toasts, and the ballroom went so quiet I heard the champagne fizzing. I am Nora, 50, school administrator by paycheck, crisis manager by habit, mother by every bone. Lily, my girl, stood at the head table with her new husband and a smile brave enough to hide a thunderstorm. The ring he just slid on her finger had an engraving visible in the slideshow close-up. L. M. plus ER, 06 out of 12. Lily May is right. But E. R. isn't his initials, and June 12th isn't today. The slideshow paused on the ring like an accusation from a polished screen. Play it, someone whispered. Phones rose. The wedding hashtag ever after at Edison, started blinking on screens like tiny flashbulbs of judgment. I swallowed. I am the parent who believes receipts over rumors, who teaches ninth graders that truth is the only study guide that works. My ex, David, stared at me from the back like I was a fuse. Marjorie, the groom's mother, tilted her head, a swan at a lake that hides its feet fighting. It's a lighting glitch, she said, soft and practiced. Jada, the planner, touched my elbow. We can step backstage, she said. I nodded once. Give me 2 minutes, I told the room, and handed the mic back. I walked, not ran, past centerpieces chosen for photographs and napkins folded like lilies. The venue manager whispered. Balance was settled this morning with a different card. My stomach tightened. I stepped into the service corridor, fluorescent and honest, and breathed the way we teach anxious kids. In for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. If I was right, this wasn't a cheating story. It was worse and colder. A paperwork story, a control story, a story with invoices and signatures that don't match. If I speak now, I might tear this day clean in half. Co-parenting with David taught me a simple rule: evidence before emotion. He is charming and hates scenes. I am steady and document things. When Lily was 6, we made charts on the fridge for bedtime and pickup. When she was 16, I made a spreadsheet for college visits. Now she is 26, and I am building a quiet plan at her own wedding. Marjorie has never liked my lists. Class isn't measured in spreadsheets, she told me at the tasting, in front of the florist. It's measured in confidence. I smiled and wrote down the peony color anyway. Today, she greeted me with a kiss that felt like a stamp and said, "Leave the logistics to the professionals." She means herself. She built the seating chart, curated the hashtag, picked the venue because the uplighting flatters cheekbones. She calls Lily dear and me Nora, with a pause, as if the syllables are heavy. 10 minutes before rehearsal yesterday, she asked the DJ to replace Lily's father-daughter song with a more elegant waltz. I said, "My daughter chose that song." She replied, "My son deserves a refined moment." That's Marjorie. Everything is a stage, and she is the director who can't bear an actor improvising. I don't dislike her. I distrust what she does to truth when truth refuses to sit up straight. David had slipped away during rehearsal with a wave and a promise of ice, which somehow took 40 minutes. Today, he hovered, eyes sliding from me to Marjorie like a bird looking for a safe branch. When the ring engraving flashed the wrong initials and date, he pinched the bridge of his nose. My rule steadied me. Evidence before emotion. If I was going to protect Lily's future, I needed documents, times, last 4 digits, file names. I needed to know whose story the ring was telling. If the paperwork lies, someone planned for my daughter to lose. The first red flags had worn perfume. The seat map, finalized 3 times, reappeared this morning with a VIP reshuffle. Lily's college friends were nudged behind a pillar. Marjorie's charity board took the front like a coronation. The florist called me at 9:12 a.m. "Hi, Ms. Nora," she said, nervous. "We got an email from Marge Events LLC at 8:04 adding prenup signing photo op to the shot list. Did you want that?" I said, "Absolutely not," and my scalp prickled. At 10:31, David just popped out before the rehearsal run-through. The chef told me he saw Marjorie whisper something and hand him a folded card. I asked Jada to confirm vendor messages. "We route all through me," she said, tapping her tablet. "But there's a second chain from a private address to some vendors." She looked up. "That's not standard." I told myself I was overreacting. I told myself brides get the day they dream, not the case study their mother writes. Then the photo booth spit out a strip showing Marjorie giving David an envelope, both half smiling like guilty teenagers. "It's for gratuities," she said when I raised an eyebrow. "We value service." The engraving still ate at me. Wrong initials, wrong date. Lily's ring was custom. Engravings are not typos. Engravings are choices. I stepped into the hallway and dialed our jeweler. "Can you check the work order?" I asked. He said he couldn't share over the phone, but would pull the file if I came by next week. "Is there any chance an earlier sample ring got mixed in?" I asked. He paused. "Not with our controls," he said. He suggested I look at the order confirmation email. I searched my inbox. Nothing. David had insisted on handling the fun surprise details. My pulse ticked louder. If David handled it, who else handled my daughter's legal future today? Escalation always looks tidy in hindsight. In real time, it spilled frosting and too many hands on the same cake. The venue manager pulled me aside. "The remaining balance posted at 10:02 a.m., she said. Cardholder name was Marjorie Rose Events, LLC. She smiled like this was generous, not strategic. At the same moment, the jeweler's automated receipt pinged to David's email. Jada showed me the CC trail he'd forward-filled to her for seating notes. The PDF thumbnail previewed the engraving form, L.M. plus ER. June 12th with a scrawled signature that looked like Lily's but thinner, like someone guided a hand. My mouth went dry. In the photo booth, the strip of Marjorie handing David an envelope sat abandoned in the plexi tray. I pocketed it. "Nora," David said, materializing like a plot twist, "don't make a scene. It's a lovely day." "What's in the envelope, David?" "Tips," he said lightly. "Your tone is cruel." The pastor approached. "Folks, the procession in 5. Lily floated past in tulle and patience. "Mom," she whispered, "please, don't fight with anyone today." I kissed her forehead. "I promised to fight for you, not with them." On the mic, the DJ launched the slideshow. That ring again, the wrong engraving, the wrong date. Guests murmured. Marjorie took the mic like she'd been waiting. "A sweet rehearsal ring mishap," she cooed. "The real engraving is correct, of course." Jada's eyes met mine, steady as a pressure cuff. She mouthed, "Evidence first." I nodded, counted to 4, and walked toward the venue office. If their story hardens now, we may not crack it without breaking vows. They escorted me from the bridal suite as if I were a spark near drapes. Marjorie clucked her tongue. "Stress doesn't flatter you, Nora," she said, and 2 of her bored friends, women I've met at fundraisers, formed a polite wall. Lily clutched my hand. "Mom, please," she begged. "I just want a calm day." I kissed her and said, "Calm can't come from lies, baby." Marjorie leaned close, breath faintly lemon. "If this drama continues, we cancel the open bar," she hissed, smile fixed. "Do you want college friends remembering a dry reception?" That was cruel and calculated. Jada stepped between us. "Marjorie, we have a ceremony clock. Let me manage my client." David, always allergic to friction, said, "Nora, not today," like I was a rain cloud desperate to ruin a parade. The pastor's assistant offered me water the way nurses offer blankets in ER waiting rooms when they can't offer a cure. "Your love for your child is obvious," she said gently. I nodded and sat for exactly 60 seconds, the length of one commercial. Then I stood. "I need the vendor binder," I told Jada. She handed it over like a scalpel. Solemn, necessary. I paged contracts, payment logs, addenda. The venue file showed contract V1 signed by Lily and the groom. V2 replaced at 7:31 a.m. with Marjorie Rose Events, LLC as co-sponsor, granting programmatic control over timeline changes. My throat burned. The prenup, meant as a simple, keep premarital assets separate, had a V3 in Jada's email with a Marge LLC sender and a DocuSign trail showing Lily's signature at June 14, 1542. An hour Lily was in my kitchen crying about a migraine. If that signature is forged, my silence would be complicity dressed as etiquette. Suspicion became a checklist. I wrote it on the venue memo pad so my hands had something to do besides shake. Plan, email headers, vendor invoices, Zelle/Venmo screenshots, photographer EXIF times, venue contract versions, notary stamp numbers, call logs. Jada mirrored me like a second heartbeat. "I'll export PDFs," she said. "You take photos of every screen." The photographer, Sam overheard and wandered closer. I can pull EXIF, he said. If the rehearsal ring has metadata, we can timebox it. I texted David, need your prenup PDF. He replied, boundaries, Nora. I texted Lily, breathe. I'm gathering facts. I love you. Marjorie floated in and out, depositing smiles like a politician. The venue manager confirmed the 1002 payment. Last four digits 1198. Cardholder Marjorie Rose Events, LLC. Sam uploaded a rehearsal burst. At June 12, 1605, Marjorie holds a ring box. At 1607, she whispers to David. At 1608, he pockets an envelope. Jada searched email headers. The V3 prenup came from Marjorie's assist at ProtonMail. At June 14, 1542, Lily's DocuSign IP resolved to our house's ISP, but Lily's phone location history shows pediatric wing of St. Luke's from 1510 to 1630, where she volunteers. I called St. Luke's. The front desk confirmed. Yes, Ms. Lily signed in at 3:09, signed out at 4:28. My skin prickled. I called a mobile notary number on V3. The stamp hashtag A9132 belongs to Notary Helen Park. I never notarized a June 14th prenup for that name, she said. My log shows a canceled request. I stared at my list and felt fear cool into clarity. If I line these receipts up, the room won't forgive the sound they make. Breadcrumbs led straight to a door Marjorie thought was locked. Jada forwarded contract V2 metadata, created 7:31 a.m. by Marjorie's admin, not Lily. The venue shared a PDF of a card authorization form, signature M.R., looping in a way that matched Marjorie's charity gala nameplates. Sam showed me the photo booth memory card. At 5:46 p.m., Marjorie and David pose. He takes the envelope. At 5:47, she mouths, later, and points toward the hotel elevators. I walk to the back office. I'll need a quiet room at 6 for a family conversation, I told the manager. She nodded, sympathetic and firm. The hotel has a small conference room. On a hunch, I checked the florist's email chain. The prenup photo op request included a note. Ensure pins visible. Capture bride signing page 3. Page 3 is where the spousal support waiver would sit. Lily wanted a simple, mutual prenup. What's hers stays hers. What's his stays his. Everything after is joint. V3 hid a clause that would turn marital property into a maze with Marjorie holding the map. At 5:55, the pastor found me. Are you trying to stop the ceremony? She asked, voice pastoral but edged. I'm trying to stop a trap, I said. Will you witness a conversation? She hesitated. I officiate, not arbitrate. I nodded. Jada will chair. We'll be brief. In the mirror of the restroom, I told myself what I tell panicked parents. Name the fear, then name the action. Fear. I ruined my daughter's day. Action. I keep my daughter's life from being shaped by a forged signature. If I fail now, Lily signs a marriage shaped by someone else's pen. Mini twist, and it wasn't about anybody cheating. It was about scaffolding and who owned the bolts. Jada printed V1 and V3 of the prenup and slid them side by side. V1. Mutual, fair, guided by Lily's simple rules. V3. Silent additions. Postmarital trust control overseen by Marjorie's LLC. Unilateral vendor rights. Emergency power of attorney for optics. And a spousal support waiver hidden behind a digital annex. It read like a coup attempted in stationery. I felt anger rise and sat on it until it cooled into words I could carry. At the same time, Zell screenshots from David's phone. Sam had caught a reflection, and David, under pressure, accidentally showed the history. Revealed $7,500 labeled rehearsal settlement from Marge Events to D.K. Yesterday, at 1812. David K. is David's full name. That's a misunderstanding, he said, sweat shining like a bad stage light. It was for last-minute costs. Name the costs, I said. He mumbled. Jada pointed at the DocuSign audit trail. Lily's signature time conflicts with her hospital volunteer log, she said. David looked at the ceiling and shut his eyes. It's complicated, he offered. No, I said. It's simple. Rumors on the hashtag kept pulsing. Why did the slideshow stop? OMG drama. Is the bride okay? We had minutes, not hours. I texted Lily. Meet me in the small conference room at 6:05 with your husband. Bring no one else yet. She replied, Mom, is something wrong? I typed, Evidence before emotion. I love you. If Lily walks into that room, I must not flinch from the truth. I chose chairs, not a table, because furniture can start fights. Jada sat beside the door, composed as a judge in soft sneakers. The groom came with Lily, hands squeezing hers. I won't name him here. This story isn't about shaming a decent man trapped in his mother's net. Marjorie swept in uninvited, David trailing like a comet that forgot its path. This is inappropriate, Marjorie declared. We have guests. We have documents, I said. We'll be concise. Jada lifted a hand. Ground rules, she said. Close questions. No shouting. We respect the couple's decisions. I nodded. Lily, did you sign a V3 prenup on June 14th at 3:42 p.m.? No, she said wide-eyed. I was with the kids at St. Luke's. You drove me, Mom. The groom frowned. I signed something my mother's lawyer sent, but I thought it was the version Lily and I agreed on. Marjorie, I asked, did your LLC pay the remaining venue balance at 10:02 a.m. and send vendors directives from Marjorie's assist at Proton Mail? She smiled a tight smile. I sponsor my son. Is generosity a crime? David, I said, did you receive $7,500 yesterday at 1812 labeled rehearsal settlement? He looked at his shoes. I accepted support to help things go smoothly. Lily turned to him, betrayal like a soft gasp. Dad, he reached out. Sweetheart, close questions, Jada reminded. I slid the photo booth strip across to the groom. Do you recognize this envelope exchange? He nodded, slow. Mom, he said, what did you pay him for? If they admit the scheme, can this ceremony survive the truth on paper? Close call arrived dressed as a shutdown. Marjorie stood, gathering her cape of authority. This wedding pauses now, she announced. We will not be bullied by a school clerk with a clipboard. I set the clipboard gently on my lap. I am a mother with receipts, I said. David chimed in, voice sugary. Not today, Nora. Don't traumatize the kids. The groom surprised me. We are the kids, he said, and we deserve clarity. Jada held the room with a palm. We will proceed by procedure, she said. Evidence in order, then decisions. Lily's lip trembled. Mom, if this is a misunderstanding, then the facts will clear it, I said. And if it isn't, we change what needs changing before the vows. Marjorie reached for the doorknob. Jada stepped lightly into her space. The couple requested this, she said, calm and immovable. For a second, I almost softened. Old habit, avoiding scenes. Then I saw Lily's hands. She was twisting the ribbon on her bouquet until it creased white. I inhaled, tasted metal, and nodded to Jada. She placed V1 and V3 side by side. We'll begin with contract versions, Jada said. Then payment records. Then the DocuSign audit. I kept my voice even for the older ears, for guests whose hearts can't tolerate shouting. Short questions, simple answers, I repeated. We will be brief, but we will be true. If I blink now, they will write my child's marriage with my silence. We laid the trap with manners. Contract V1, I said and pointed. Signed by the couple. Mutual terms. The groom nodded. Contract V3, I continued. Arrived from Marjorie's assist at Proton Mail on June 14, 1542. Lily, were you at St. Luke's then? Yes. David, were you at our house at 3:42? He shook his head. I was at a meeting. Jada tapped the DocuSign audit. IP address matches the house network. Location services place Lily at the hospital. I moved to the next stone. Venue balance at 10:02 a.m. Last for 1198. Cardholder Marjorie Rose Events, LLC. The groom frowned. I asked that we split costs. Marjorie's smile didn't reach her eyes. You were busy dressing, darling. Photo booth at 5:46, I said, sliding the strip. Envelope from Marjorie to David. David, what was purchased? Goodwill, he whispered. And quiet. Lily's bouquet ribbon finally snapped. Quiet about what? She asked. I kept my gaze steady. About the family trust being empty, perhaps? About an optics loan? About ensuring this event proves a brand while the prenup secures control? Marjorie laughed once, bright and brittle. Control is safety, she said. And safety is love. The groom looked ill. Mom, did you forge Lily's signature? Marjorie's nostrils flared. I authorized what was prudent. If she won't say the word, the auditor will say it for her tonight. Big reveal, tasted like tin and relief. Jada clicked open the notary hashtag a 9132 log reply on her tablet speaker. This is Helen Park, the message played. I did not notarize a June 14th prenup for that couple. The request was canceled. She showed the reply to the room. I held up Lily's volunteer log sheet with St. Luke's stamp. Lily did not sign V3, I said. The signature is a forgery. The groom's shoulders sagged. Mom, why? Marjorie's voice went low. Because image is currency, she said. Your wife's family brings debt of taste. We bring standards. Someone had to protect you. David folded, finally small. She paid me to keep Nora occupied, he admitted. To get the ring story past you and to calm you if you noticed. Lily stared at the ring as if it had bitten her. You bought my father, she whispered. You bought my vows. Jada slid a paper across to Lily. We can void V3 and revert to V1, she said. We can also pause the ceremony, call the jeweler, and re-engrave. Marjorie shook her head. You will not humiliate us. I looked at Lily, then at the groom. Children, I said, because that's what they still are to me. You can choose truth and still have a marriage today. But you cannot marry a lie and fix it later. The groom took Lily's hand. We pause, he said. If we pause, we must rebuild fast enough to outrun the whispering crowd. Fallout wasn't fireworks. It was paperwork and phone calls and a ballroom buzzing like a beehive. Jada addressed the guests with a microphone and a smile that said we're adjusting for joy. The DJ played instrumentals. Some guests left, ready to narrate to the hashtag like sports commentators. Others stayed, loyal to the kids over the spectacle. In the conference room, we called the jeweler. Emergency re-engrave? I asked. We'll send a runner, he said. The groom phoned his attorney. Void V3, he said. Send a confirmation email now. We looped in Notary Park for a brief affidavit about the canceled request. My ex sobbed into a paper towel, a small, shameful sound. I thought smoothing things would help, he said. You sold our daughter's voice. I answered, tired more than angry. Marjorie tried one more performance. Do this, and the gala board will. The groom held up a hand. I don't care about your board. Lily pressed her forehead to mine. Mom, am I ruining everything? You are saving yourself, I said. At 7:22 p.m., the jeweler's assistant arrived with a ring warm from the machine. L. M. plus H. B. 09/03, the correct initials and date. We signed a brief addendum reinstating V1 and emailed it to both counsel. Jada checked the clock. We can start at 8, she said. The pastor returned. Do you still want vows? Lily squeezed the groom's hand. Yes, different words. If they speak new vows, they must say exactly what truth costs them. Healing looked like boundaries printed in clean fonts. Before the music started again, Lily and her husband initialed a short memorandum. No unilateral vendor control. Full transparency on accounts. Shared passwords for wedding portals. No third-party directives without both signatures. The groom texted his mother, we love you. You are not in charge of our marriage. Marjorie didn't reply. Sometimes silence is the only costume left. We posted a simple note to the hashtag. Ceremony paused to correct paperwork. All good. Vows at 8. Underneath, Lily wrote, we choose truth over optics. See you on the dance floor. David asked to address Lily privately. I'm so sorry, he said. I thought helping meant avoiding conflict. She shook her head. Helping means telling me the truth before it hurts me. He nodded, new lines in his face. Guests returned to their seats. The pastor stepped up, voice warm. Love rejoices in truth, she read. The vows were smaller, truer. Lily said, I will not let fear sign for me. Her husband said, I will never outsource our choices to anyone. People cried the good way. Later, Jada and I stood by the kitchen doors. You did it, she said. You did it by the book. I exhaled. Receipts before rumors. On the floor, Lily and her husband danced a quiet first dance redo, as if the room had shrunk to a circle they could defend. If we forget tonight's lesson, the prettiest stages will swallow us whole. After midnight, the ballroom smelled like frosting and endings. The kids slipped away in a shower of biodegradable confetti. I sat on the edge of the platform, shoes off, ankles grateful. Jada brought me water. You know, she said, older guests love the clarity. Straight lines are kind on tired hearts. I smiled. In the hotel parking garage, I found Marjorie by her car, hands gripping the steering wheel like a lifeline. I'm not a villain, she said, voice small without an audience. I just know how quickly stories turn. Then stop writing other people's chapters, I answered. Be a reader. Clap when it's honest. She nodded once, not ready to change, maybe ready to think. David texted a photo to Lily, the ring on her hand, the engraving crisp and correct. I'm sorry. I'll earn back, trust the slow way, he wrote. At home the next day, I made a list for our fridge, write dates. Save receipts. Ask before signing. Speak up before vows. I will tell this story to my students when they ask why we check sources. I will tell it to myself when I'm tempted to keep peace by swallowing my tongue. Love with boundaries is still love. It lasts longer because the edges don't fray in secret. The hopeful image I keep is Lily laughing during the second first dance, ribbon repaired with a little safety pin, which is what truth is, small, sharp, and capable of holding fabric together when gowns get tugged by life. The practical takeaway is simple and older than hashtags. Verify before you vow, and never let fear hold the pen. Will we remember to choose proof over polish when the next storm arrives?